Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to TarnationTV.com. That's the website. Welcome to Tarnation TV on YouTube, which is probably how you are viewing this right now. Welcome to Phoenix Raceway here at the Maverick Cup Series this evening, November the 11th. So this is the Veterans Day 200 here at Phoenix. So if anybody knows any veterans, make sure that you send them a text, tell them how cool they are, thank you for your service, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's always a cool day, the 11th of November. But in Canada, it's Remembrance Day, so happy Remembrance Day, happy Veterans Day, and thank you for your service, everybody involved in the armed forces, no matter what country you're from. Services are always, especially on this channel, I know a lot of people that are in the Army, in the Navy. It's too many people, actually. It's a shame it's a shame the whole planet just can't get along. Anyhow, welcome to the race tonight. I'm running solo this evening. My name is Blaine, of course. Bob Weston unable to join us, but he's doing good. He had some appointments to tend to this week, and I was texting him earlier today, and he's home. He's okay. Everything's cool there. I'll let him elaborate if he wants to later, but yeah, he just had some appointments he had to tend to, and he will be back here in the co-host seat next week for the finale of Maverick. We've already come this far in the Maverick Cup Series. Let's throw some points up on the screen here. The fact that we've already done 22 races are complete. This is race number 23. Next week will be the finale of season number 5 here at the Cup Series. And then March in 2026, we're coming back. The big Daytona race, Maverick's biggest race. Even this year already, we've had upwards almost 120 drivers, I think. Well, the list will roll right here. You'll actually see the last driver. We'll have that number. Show you on the chart there how many people have actually competed here at Maverick in season number 5. It's got to be a record set number. I can't remember the exact number. Of course, Ben would have all that information, but currently everybody is in practice. We're getting ready to go to qualifying here shortly. Night version of Phoenix. Phoenix is such a cool track too. I've been watching these guys in practice. Everybody's running different lines, and wouldn't be surprised if we went 4, 5, 6 wide some spots of this track tonight. But yeah, it should be a good one. Lots of competition, of course, on the live streaming this evening too. I know over at pretty sure that Andrew Miller at Top Dragster Racing on Tuesdays is over at Hobo. We're doing this here at Maverick, and lots of racing going on as always in NASCAR Racing 2003 season, everybody's favorite NASCAR simulator. So yeah, hopefully you like the product. Hopefully I can do it justice this evening going solo on this. It's tough to do these things by myself, so there may be some instances in the broadcast where I might have to mute the mics because there'll be nobody to cover me. But either way, you can see there Jack Merkel in the point standings has clinched. At the end of last week's race, Merkel did clinch the championship here at Maverick. They don't have a playoff format of any kind. They just tally up the points until we're done. I am a big fan of that. I understand the playoff thing too. Nobody's going to tap out now, and well, Merkel clinched. What's the point? Why watch the broadcast? Why participate in the race?
To your cars.
Yeah, because it's a race and it's fun. But I do like this way, the old way, I guess. 2003, early 2000s is when they abandoned this format in actual NASCAR and went to the playoffs. And, I don't know. I think if you've run an entire season and dominated, why would that get taken away? With a playoff knockout kind of scenario. That, to me, that seems just kind of strange. If you've run that good and you've been that consistent, you deserve to be that far ahead. Like Merkel, for instance. It's 433 points in front of second place with Josh Mercurio. And speaking of second place, Joshua Mercurio, as you can see from those points as well, has clinched second. Nobody can catch him either. But then we get down into third. It really is now a race for third place, because this is all between like LaPlante, Dorsey, and Peavy. That's all entirely possible. So that'll be kind of the race that we're sort of watching almost. Have to, of course, wait until final results come in and post-race reviews. Penalties can still happen after the race once Ben and his administrative team go through the process there of kind of mulling over the replay and dealing out any penalties that need to be dealt. But what a season we've had. I mean, there's still two full races left, because this one hasn't started yet. Got more screens here for you too. Next year's schedule, as you can see there, the first race, Daytona, March 3rd. Some new tracks in there too. Mexico City, we're going to Montreal in Canada. That's a very cool track too. The Mexico City circuit is really cool. I like how they've added in some of these, some road courses. They're very, very neat. Especially the, Ben requested the intro to the race. You know, you watch the countdown screen, and then I fire up that video that plays that Typo Negative song. I use it all the time. He said, "Hey, can we get a custom intro?" I said, "Yeah." I said that I was kind of thinking the same thing, because now that I have enough replays after doing 20 races here for Maverick, I can pull footage from those replays and come up with a cool intro. So a lot of the stuff too, I really liked the road courses like we had, like Road America, Sonoma, Watkins Glen, and when it comes to replays, it's neat. Those tracks lend themselves really well. Let me see. These guys are just getting ready to go into happy hour here, so I'll give you something to look at other than straight up points the whole time. You can see there at the bottom left of your screen. Next broadcast with Maverick Homestead, Miami for the season finale next week. Rod Weston will be sitting in here. He will be good to go next Tuesday. Not November the 11th. That's a typo. Today's November the 11th. What's next week's date? The 18th, November 18th, of course, will be live about 8:30. Broadcast usually starts around 8:15 with a 15-minute countdown. Thanks again, everybody who's watching this thing tonight. Currently focused on Carrera, doing some happy hour laps. Digging these camera angles too. I was in the practice and messing around with the track a little bit. There's Tate Dorsey in the 6. I mean, if you're talking about the podium, Merkel's got the championship wrapped up, but if you want to look at the championship kind of as a podium as well, that third place spot could be LaPlante, it could be Dorsey. Like it's very tight for the third place. That's very close in points once you kind of get off the top two there. But as always, we do have a special Grand Marshal lined up for this evening. The NASCAR Winston West Series, former driver Jeff Davis. Ben Snyder somehow gets these people that used to race in the actual NASCAR series to just, lend a 10-second little clip for us to put on the broadcast. It's pretty sweet. We had some really good Grand Marshals this year too, so I'm curious to see what next year can bring. Just watching these guys mess around here is kind of fun. Of course, I got a lot of neat little stats on my notepad here tonight that I will be going over as this race progresses. Thanks again, everybody, for watching, subscribing to the channel. That's the thing too. Maverick Cup, once we joined on with them, we've gained, like the channel itself on YouTube has gained about somewhere like 80 and 100 new subscribers. Every couple of weeks, it kind of just goes up a little bit more. It's not a whole lot of subscribers to the channel. It's only like 300. I think it's 355. But the videos get a couple hundred hits. And that's kind of neat because I know that those people are watching. Those people, those subscribers aren't fake subscribers. You know, this channel is never going to have thousands. I don't think the channel will ever have thousands, but just been handed a letter. Ben will send me right now. Ben's going to send me all the little tidbits for the race. Countries that are represented in the race tonight. Of course, the car makes as well. He keeps track of all this stuff, pretty meticulous. That's one thing about Ben Snyder. He's like a sponge for statistics. Knowing, like, who ran a race on their birthday and nobody's out. I think that was a stat. Nobody here has ever actually won on their birthday. He has all these statistics, and it's pretty awesome. So countries represented in today's race. We have about 20 drivers online tonight. Phoenix, under the lights. From the United States of America, we have 15 drivers. From Brazil, we have 3 drivers. From Peru, we have 1. And from Puerto Rico, we also have 1. And you might be asking me, Blaine, what about the makes? What about the different car makes, the manufacturers? Let me just calm down a second and I'll tell you. Chevrolet has 6 cars on track today. Ford has 4. Lexus has 4. Kia has 2. Toyota has 2. There is 1 Cadillac, and there is 1 Honda. Surprised that Keith Hughes is still only the only Honda driver. I always rock a Honda. That's all I ever buy in real life. The wife has a Honda 600 motorcycle. I got a couple Civics in the driveway, so, you know, why not? Living in Canada, the body of the car will rot away before the engine fails, which is unfortunate. All the rust from our winter driving, sand and salt eating away the body of your car. That doesn't happen here. There's no weather in this game. Sunny skies, even though it's dark, and no wind. 70 degrees Fahrenheit, Phoenix. Everybody's slamming on the brakes, which means we're probably getting ready to grid up, which means we can go see what our Grand Marshal has to say. Again, Grand Marshal tonight, NASCAR Winston West driver Jeff Davis. It would appear to be that they re-racked happy hour. Yeah, they set happy hour back to 4. Yeah, back to 5 minutes. We got about 4 minutes left in happy hour. So, got some other screens we could toss up just in case of emergency. I didn't put the lap count in. What are we doing for laps tonight? Let's see here. 125 laps will be on the clock here tonight, Phoenix Raceway. 2 times pit frequency. What that means is the gas and tires will burn away twice as fast as they would in real life here. The mod we are using, which is the cars you will see on the track this evening, is a Generation 6 cars designed by the Bull Ring, 2015. Moderate damage with a fixed setup, and then of course the yellow flags are run by the administrators, which is very cool. I'm a big fan of how these guys run their yellows, just because it keeps the race moving. And there's a caution, they have caution cooldown, so if they have a couple of quick, they get 3 or 4 quick cautions, there won't be any cautions for a few laps to kind of let it settle down, let everybody get sorted out. And then we are within 5 laps to the checkered flag. They will not throw a yellow at all, no matter what. And that has actually led to some pretty wild finishes. The closest finish ever, actually, this year was because of that. There was a huge wreck in the first Talladega race, which took place in April. It was April 29th, that's what I put down there. Big wreck on the last lap. It came down to Cody Lamas and Josh Mercurio all by themselves at Talladega for 2 miles. Side by side the whole way around. Door banging, pushing each other around, trading paint. It was crazy. It came down. It was so close it actually didn't register on the ticker because the ticker only takes 2 decimal points. It was actually down to the thousandth. It was 0.004 of a gap. The win went to Lance. An awesome finish. Probably one of the closest finishes we've ever broadcast live. It was an amazing race. And yeah, to have a 4/1000ths of a second gap at Talladega turned out to be about 1 fender, maybe half a tire. It was not much. Crazy thing too, I was watching the replay. I pulled it up yesterday just to watch it again. And if they had another couple seconds to the stripe, Mercurio would have had him because he was actually pulling back, reeling him in on the outside line. He actually started to pass him, but Lamas was able to hold him off and get the checkered flag win. But I'm thinking, man, if this thing went 1 more lap, you never know, right? Like, what if the line was farther down the straightaway, or it's pretty awesome finishes there. So that's something to look forward to as well. Yeah, within the last 5 laps here at the Maverick Cup Series race, there will never be a yellow flag. So. Must have been a reset for some reason. Of course, more statistics there on the screen. Season information after 22 completed races of 24. In those 22 races, we have completed a total of 2,275 laps, which is 3,380 miles of racing. Jack Merkel has completed 97% of all those laps. That number has been progressively getting higher every week. It was like 96.1, 96.4, 96.7. Now it's actually 97% of the laps. He's completed most of them. Of course, that's the highest percentage here. LaPlante being second place. So Merkel has completed 2,206 of those laps for a total of 3,291 miles in the first 22 starts. That's the thing, too, I noticed about Merkel. I don't know if I wrote that. No, I didn't. Oh, yes, I did. Yeah, Jack Merkel and Austin LaPlante are the only 2 drivers in this entire season to start all 22 races. And LaPlante is here tonight. And so is Jack. So they haven't started yet, technically. But they've been here for every single race. Even I missed one. Can't remember which one it was. But yeah, I know it was in the summertime because I crashed pretty hard after work. Kind of overworked. It's overheated. Yeah, that was not a fun day. But Ben was very understanding. I shot him a text pretty early. I'm like, do not pay me because I don't think I can make it. And I could not. I went to sleep and slept straight for your cars. 12 hours? Something like that. Anyway, let's hand this over to the Grand Marshal for this evening. Like I said, NASCAR Winston West, former driver Jeff Davis is our Grand Marshal this evening, so take it away, Mr. Davis.
Drivers, start your engines.
I think we re-racked up again. Hey, Jeff, do it one more time, buddy.
Drivers, start your engines.
There it is. It was a little bit low on there. I tried to boost the audio on on Jeff Davis there, but hopefully you guys can hear it. Thank you very much to Jeff, of course. That's always cool when you can get like a former driver to just, you know, we need 5 to 10 seconds of your time. Just get out the cell phone camera and record a little intro, and Ben will send it to me, and I will put it in the broadcast, and away we go. So anyhow, well, it would appear to me that the Veterans Day 200, like I said, thank you everybody for their service. Men, women, children, animals, you know, horses, dogs, birds, people. Lots of lives have been lost due to war, so today is the day to, wow, these guys are not, yeah, today is the day to remember them. Off to a great start, too. He's currently focused there on Carnby Edward. Lots of room out here at Phoenix, especially with 20 cars on the track. Oops. Looks like the green will remain out there. Let's take a look back here to see what's going on. See exactly what had happened. Paulo Vitor. Looks like it might have just been a brake, not a brake check, but just a different braking zone than Jonathan Peavy was ready for, because the number 2 got right into him. Yeah, and it was kind of just a good heads-up play there by Mark Snyder. Check out some of these car schemes, too. That's pretty cool. Mark Scott. Some new rigs, of course, because we are rocking Veterans Day. More smoke on the track. Yellow flag is up. We'll go see what happened there. Again, this would be not impossible to do by myself, just a little bit of a different process just because of how that happens sometimes. The game will crash. Yeah, calling the race is a little bit, so I was gonna rewind and see what happened in that replay, but I won't be able to do it now. The game locked up on me, so we'll have to reboot all this stuff here. This brief intermission brought to you in part by Tarnation TV and Tarnation TV Turbo, the alternate channel where there are no rules. For a limited time only, subscriptions are free. I'd like to thank Ben, of course, and Maverick Cup for bringing us on this season and signing us up for next season. Should be pretty awesome. And we're working towards, get a good idea that a few races next season, we will probably run a 3-person broadcast crew. Because that's sort of, it allows me to do a little bit more behind the scenes production stuff and then have an extra set of eyes on the track too. We can find different things that happen. You know, it just adds more layers to the...
Drivers, to your cars.
It adds more layers to the broadcast, because then you've got people who can look back and rewind and tell me where to go and see what happened and all that kind of stuff. So you're trying to do a one-man thing. I'm working behind the scenes, and there's nobody here to do the talking. stop trying to explain stuff as the pace car leaves. We are getting ready to go green here at the end of lap 6, which will, of course, be the start of lap 7. Victor Carrera, your leader, outside Santiago Gutierrez. Oh, wait a second. Yeah, Santiago Gutierrez was in second place, but looks like Peavy actually... For some reason, it was billing Peavy in the number one spot. That's probably just because I rebooted the ticker. Maybe, I don't know. Very different braking points I'm noticing too. That's what caused that initial accident. The first one we saw, I think, was just guys are getting used to kind of how they want to drive through this thing. That area of the track right there, that dogleg after that start-finish line is hilarious to watch sometimes. There's so many cars can go through there. So much room on this track. Oh, Dorsey is around. Yellow flag is up. See there, the 68 of Joseph Landy Pavlon was in that as well. I say Dorsey could probably, I mean, it's going to be close. Third place trying to catch LaPlante. But it is possible. Championship standings. I give that right there. The numbers that Merkel has put up is staggering. And of course, as always, as per his bet at the beginning of the year there, saw him when we were starting the race pull off to the side, go to the back of the pack. He will qualify, but he will go to the back of the pack and start the race in the rear. And now he's in 4th. So that didn't take long, lap 11. Getting credit right there across at the line. Within the pit cycle, puts him in 3rd place. As you can see here, number 24 of Jack Merkel is the season 5 Maverick Cup Series champ. 21 starts before this race, of course. It is 22 now. After 21 complete races, he has 19 top 10 finishes. 16 of those were top 5. 10 of those were wins. Crazy numbers. Does that actually sync up with... It should. Yeah, 19, 16, 10. Good. Making sure I got it right. But yeah, that was another thing in the intro. I kind of, when I rebuilt that intro at the start, made sure that definitely put Jack in there doing some burnouts and whatnot, because what a show he's put on this year. And again, everybody in the top 10, I mean, everybody who even came in and raced here. You've got Josh Mercurio, you got Austin LaPlante, Tate Dorsey, you got Peavy, Pashon is in there. Jorge Pashon, Santiago Gutierrez, RJ Bishop, Keith Hughes, Joseph Landy Pavlon rounding out your top 10 here. Other than Merkel running away with it and Mercurio also running away with it and locking down 2nd place, the points are pretty tight. A lot of really good competition here, so I'm curious to see what's going to happen season 6 in March, but Benjamin Snyder there in that Veterans Day number 7. Some get really, really tight getting through there. Some guys having a hard time on these cold tires. That's the thing with some of these tracks. And again, this is a simulator. You got to remember this. This isn't an arcade game. Yellow flag back up. Gotta let the tires get warmed up, especially on Phoenix. It's a weird track. See what happened here. Okay, it was back there, the 73. 73 of Victor Carrera. I don't even really know how that happened. He got into Jarrett Gravois. Oh, I see. It just washed right up the track. I don't know if that was the cause of the yellow, though. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Wow, Tate hard on the brakes right there. Wow. To avoid a collision there. He's already been tangled up in the first wreck. He's able to avoid that one. Crocodile Cromp to the inside wall. He's running a different paint scheme there, too. I like these. I like seeing these, a race like a Veterans Day race. It's cool because you get to see all these neat paint schemes these guys are rocking. Let's see if I can get a better camera angle so we can actually see some of these things. Let's just go through the field here while we are on yellow flag conditions here. Currently focused here on Crocodile Crop at the 48. There's Jarrett Gravois at the 23. Victor Carrera at the 73. Who's that? Mark Snyder at the 27. Couple guys in the pace car. Santiago Gutierrez currently your leader. To the right of him, the 82 of Keith Hughes. Behind in row number 2 is Zachary Hall and Austin LaPlante. Carnby Edward, Jonathan Peavy. Joseph Landy Pavlon and Ben Snyder there on the outside line. There's Jack Merkel in the 10, the 10th position in the 24. Michael Norman in the 22, fellow broadcaster over at Flat Out Racing. He sits next to Seth a lot of times. Pretty much full time here in this series. Paolo Vitor, Tate Dorsey, Joshua Mercurio, Lucas Garcia next to Jarrett Gravois. There's Mark Snyder again. Carrera Cromp playing catch-up. It's the pace car docks it. We are back to green flag racing. Lap number 17 has begun. Why are those grandstands empty? That was weird. Is that supposed to be like that? I guess so. It's race conditions. There is nobody here. Interesting. Those grandstands to me look empty. I don't know why. 3 wide back here for second place. This view here is pretty awesome. Spectator camera on this in this cam back is great. Merkel to the inside, Gutierrez in the middle, Zachary Hall on the outside. This is just absolute. Oh man, the tires are still cold, boys. Michael Norman almost bouncing off the 2. That's what I noticed with the 2 of Landy Pavlon. He really drives into those corners hard. The amount of space coming off that front straightaway is so cool to watch. Oh, Mercurio a little bit too hard into the corner there. Zachary Hall up into the wall as well. And just got demolished by Ben Snyder. Helped him turn around though. we will be into one of the caution cool down. Give the flag man a little bit of a break. Sometimes you get a couple of quick cautions. They throw out a few cautions early. They'll go into a cool down mode. Currently focused on Keith Hughes, Jack Merkel right behind him. Didn't take Jack long, even with a couple of yellow flag sessions. Right up there to second place now. So far, the most laps led tonight is Santiago Gutierrez in the 81. He's currently being shown in 9th position. Keith has led 9 laps, and Jonathan Peavy has 1 lap led. Currently the fastest lap out here tonight, 27.8 seconds by Jack Merkel. That's 135.268 mile per hour. Again, thanks to Ben and Maverick Cup Series for bringing us on this year. It's been a lot of fun. Of course, thanks to my buddy Jono for writing the tunes in the countdown screen. He's done a couple little of guitar musical loops and whatnot. We keep meaning to get together to jam out some new stuff. Jono and I haven't really smashed any instruments in a while because, he's got an electric drum kit. We got all kinds of guitars. It's crazy. I think between the two of us, we probably got like 20 guitars. So life gets in the way sometimes. We're going to have to... I texted him. I said, man, we got to order some pizzas and lock ourselves in the basement for a weekend. It's just, do some tunes. Helps with the broadcast too, because I ended up using a lot of the music that he made, more so than me, but there's the race there for 4th, 34, Carlos Mendez. Able to get under Norman and then got loose. Ooh, fancy. Oh, it almost worked. It looked to me like he kind of gave it some gas on purpose to keep that thing spinning. There we go. It's like a battle for every position right here. Austin LaPlante in 3rd place, currently right there, right beside him. Joseph Landy Pavlon in 4th. Then you've got Austin LaPlante. Where'd he go? Michael Norman there in 5th. All these guys racing for 4th position, and they are just everywhere. In the middle, up high, down low. Coming through this dogleg off the front straightaway. Everybody has such a different line. I know there's versions of this truck that won't let you go below the yellow. But you can see this is definitely not that version, because this allows the guys to drive wherever they want to drive. There are no boundaries as far as paint goes. I don't know if I could race this track if the yellow line was a boundary line, because that area right there is really hard to... It would be so... Because it's all I've ever done. Everybody too, like you just race wherever you gotta race on this track. It's crazy. Oh, what was that? Somebody was stopped back there? Carlos Mendez? Oh, that's pit stop. Duh. The 70 underneath Gutierrez there. That's Vitor. It'll be for 9th position. Take Dorsey in 8th. Austin LaPlante in 7th. Carnby Edward in 6th. Michael Norman in 5th. 68 of Joseph Landy Pavlon in 3rd. Jonathan Peavy is in 3rd, I think. Or that just... Yeah, Peavy looks like he passed LaPlante for 3rd. So flip that around. Mendez right there. He's in 17th, so he's a lap down. And Hughes is in second place. And 3 seconds in front of him, Jack Merkel. Showing you how to get around Phoenix. Seven of Mark Snyder right there. We'll go a lap down. Wow, let's slap the microphone. We'll go a lap down. So at the 86 of Mercurio, he did end up getting back on the lead lap. He was a lap down, I do believe, earlier in the race. Go a lap down again. In the championship points, that's first and second right there. Merkel in first and Mercurio in second. Both Mercs. Jack Merck and Josh Merck. But he's about to get lapped. Battle for 5th place is shaping up pretty good here. Oh, I said it out loud and he got spun. Oh, I guess, you know what? The battle for 5th. Oh, and look at that. Good call. Michael Norman close enough to the pit entrance to just, you know what? It's getting to be that time. Let's just get down here and do a pit stop. Looks like he actually might have cut a tire. The way that car is sagging to the right front like that, it looks like maybe he cut a tire. It's possible. Pit cycles there. Gutierrez on pit road. Michael Norman, there's Michael Norman. Let's see what kind of pit lane cameras we got. That would be pit entrance right there. Few cars on the pit road taking service. Noah Wetzel in the 49. So Norman, a little bit of a spin out there. Right before the pit entrance, was able to take advantage of that. Currently back out here in the 12th position. Of course, there'll be a lap down until this cycles through. The only retired car this evening so far is Benjamin Snyder. And I was going to say, where did Noah Wetzel come from? Because all of a sudden he's out here. But I'm showing he is 36 laps behind. So he's only on his second lap right now, so he must have had a connection problem. He was probably connected during qualifying, but then maybe something happened locally for him and he was forced to reconnect. So I guess he got his issues sorted out. Was able to rejoin the race here on lap 38 right now. He's 36 laps behind everybody else. Currently being shown in 20th place. He will catch Benjamin Snyder, has retired, and Benjamin is 16 laps down. So in another 20 laps or so, Noah will gain that 19th spot. Points are points, man. Let's get out here and run the laps. Carnby Edward there. The 80 car being shown in 6th. Some more stats here that I took note of. Pertaining to, of course, season number 5 here in the Maverick Cup Series. Total number of laps led before this race started, of course. Jack Merkel has led 574 laps. Josh Mercurio had led 290 laps. Zach Rogers with 173. Jonathan Peavy led 152, and RJ Bishop 27 laps led. Merkel's pretty much unstoppable. To lead 574 laps and then in second place is 290 with Joshua Mercurio. That's crazy. Watching this battle here for third. Joseph Landy Pavlon in that red Coca-Cola rig. Mark Snyder there in the 27. Veterans Day themed Kia. First place goes to Pavlon, which means Merkel is pitting, along with Hughes. Cromp is back there as well. Full service on the 24. The best part of that, too, is, that first pit stall, you don't need to worry about speed. You just pedal to the metal, get her back out on the track. You know what? We haven't done a crank it up in a while. How about we get into cockpit with Jack Merkel? I'll be quiet for a couple laps. If you guys want to turn up your stereo systems, do so. Thanks for watching. See you in a few. Haven't done a crank it up in a really long time. We were talking about Flat Out Racing Network. Rod and I were a couple broadcasts ago on how they have a race break segment. Like our race break segment is kind of the crank it up segment. We can shut the mics off and take a drink. Just watching Lucas Garcia come out of the pit stall there. Lucas Garcia currently being shown 3 laps down, 17th place. Needed some service there. Looks like we're having a pretty good race here, of course. For 5th, Dorsey, Santiago Gutierrez. Dorsey just going for it on the inside. Had such a head of steam, he had to whoa up. You know what? We're going to load that up. We're going to check that out. That was pretty awesome. I think a cockpit view of that might actually be fairly interesting because he was on the outside line. He decides to make a move and go to the inside. That little brake check sort of set him up, I think. Just go for it. Right down into the pit exit. Has so much speed there. Such an interesting track, you know. Able to gain, but then, you know, having to get back in line. You can't push it too far because then you'll end up throwing the car right out, like, and killing your tires too. Don't forget that. So this is not going to be easy to conserve tires at all. Although it didn't look like too many guys were having too many issues late in the run last time when they were green flag pit stops. He did it around lap 44, I believe. Looks like they might be able to get about maybe 20 or 30 laps. I didn't even really ask anybody what the pit window was here. Currently retired because of an accident within about the last dozen laps or so. Victor Carrera is out of the race. Number 73 has parked it, taken it to the garage, packed it up for the evening. Carlos Mendez to the pits again. This will be his 5th pit stop of the evening. That's interesting. Looking at the pit counter. Santiago Gutierrez in the 81 has only pit once. Everybody else has pit at least twice. Merkel has 4 pit stops. Keith has 3. So does Jonathan Peavy. Cromp has hit the pits 5 times. Same with Garcia. Gutierrez is the only car that's only pitted 1 time. And we're coming up to lap 59 right here. Currently running in 7th position. And of course you could see from the point standings that Gutierrez was in... He's got 2,531 points. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7th points overall. Awesome run this year by Gutierrez. The top 5 drivers with wins this year is another good one. Of course, Merkel has 10 wins. Rogers has 3. Furio has 2 wins. Lamas has 1. Peavy also has 1. Like I was saying in the intro, Lamas had that win at Talladega, and it was by 4 1,000ths of a second at the line. Photo finish. Awesome race. Carnby Edward and Joseph Landy Pavlon fighting for 5th. These guys have swapped a couple of times. I've been sort of watching the times behind the scenes. They're pretty close to each other. But it's a strange track. And we've heard Rod Weston talk about how Martinsville is a rhythm track. Oh, there's Mercurio around. He might have a flat tire. Yeah. Yeah, he's definitely got a flat. He's trying to get it to turn because it won't turn. I've had to do that. He might not have any front tires, actually. Judging by the way that he's kind of dumping the clutch, I've had that happen. If you have no front tires, it's awfully hard to steer that thing. And the only way to get it to go is to kind of dump the clutch and just kind of almost do a half spin to get it to turn. So he's going to have to hobble this thing to pit road. Oh, another car hard around on the front straightaway. It looks like the 27 got involved with the 2. We'll check that out here in a second. I'll have to load that up. 27 and the 2 got together hard on the front straightaway. It looked like a lot of smoke going on out there. TV to the inside of Snyder. Snyder's tagged a wall. Yeah. Yellow flag is up. We'll rack them up. From first with a 6-second lead. To the pits he goes. Jack Merkel. Jack Merkel to the pits in the 24. First chance he had. Just go and do it. Now, I'm going to see when. Just going to check something out here. Are we under yellow flag conditions right here? No, we are. Okay, and the pits are open. That's what I was just curious. I was wondering if maybe he was pitting before. You can see the green lights flashing there, and the green flag is out. So yellow lights and green lights. Green, of course, meaning the pits are open. Just let Jack carry us around here on his right fender. Check out the night skies of Phoenix, Arizona. Everybody up on the hill. I noticed earlier that the grandstands look kind of empty. There's definitely people up there on the hill. As I said, no, ignore the date. Next Tuesday, November the 18th, Homestead, Miami, season finale, Maverick Cup Series, season number 5 comes to a close. Of course, like I said, position number 1 and 2 of the championship standings has been decided already. Merkel and Mercurio. Third place is still up for grabs. Rod Weston will be returning, so you won't have to listen to me try to figure out how to call this thing by myself. There we go. Everybody's the lights are off, so we will be getting ready to go green here. course, another big thank you to Rod Weston. I've had everybody who's been a co-host on Tarnation TV it's been great. Brian Wolf being the original one, we kind of came up with the idea a few years back. I'd have to go and check now. It's probably been like 3 or 4 years ago, maybe even 5. We were in cahoots with Jeffrey Elliott over there at Talladega Nights, and he was kind enough he wanted his series broadcasted. And we were thinking about maybe trying it out. Green flag puts everybody back to race conditions here. Lap number 70 of 125. Keith Hughes to the lead. Merkel on that second line, just outside Dorsey. Carnby Edward into 80. And Joseph Landy Pavlon rounded out your top 5. If Dorsey can finish in front of LaPlante is currently 2 laps down. Dorsey's currently running in 3rd. LaPlante's 2 laps down at 12th. What are they? I got it all written down here. I'm kind of just looking for if we were treating the championship standings as a podium, who would be 3rd, because that's really where the race is. Yeah, there's only a 69-point gap between LaPlante and Dorsey. And with LaPlante being 2 laps down in 12th position right now, Dorsey could have a pretty good chance here at leapfrogging him. Currently in 3rd. But yeah, Brian Wolf and I started out Tarnation TV. And, those initial races were a disaster because half the time we were running with no mics, no audio on the track, just learning the software and how everything kind of works and how to test it all and how to make sure if this happened that I could fix it with the press of a button. So slowly got all the fail-safes down and figured out how to put a broadcast together, so that was pretty cool. And other leagues started taking notice, and here we are years later broadcasting for Maverick, broadcasting for Rolling Thunder Gaming, their Talladega Challenge, their biggest series. They approached Tarnation TV there to do their season number 66 of the Tally Challenge. I was just flabbergasted at that. That was so cool. Of course, Talladega Nights, Primetime Racing League, SMO, East Coast Thunder. Man, so many leagues we've broadcasted for. All the special events too, the ALS event for Kelly Causey, breast cancer awareness races for Nate Balser. Cannon Hinnant, of course, the end gun violence races that Brian Wolf puts on. That's where it all started, really. And then, like I said, having Rod Weston come in, and he's been great. Awesome co-hosting with Rod. His knowledge of racing helps. I watch racing here and there. He actually is a race car driver and a mechanic, so that is picking his brain and all that kind of stuff really does help the broadcast out. There's Crocodile Cromp on the inside of Mercurio, but Mercurio is 2 laps down and Cromp is 1 lap down, so that is not for position. Pavlon right on the bumper of Edward. Michael Norman has fallen 1 lap behind, so that is not for position either. Of course, another thank you goes out to the Like the music, I said, my buddy Jono lending his music, and I have another guy there, VARKENSSTAD. It's the instrumental death metal stuff you guys hear at the end of the race and the post-race interview. We'll be playing some of his stuff. Reached out to him, found his music on Spotify, and he's a one-man band. I said, hey man, do you mind if I use your stuff on live streams? He said, go for it. So I did. YouTube has a lot of problem with music. When you can get people who make their own music, just reach out. Sometimes they'll let you use it. 80 laps into this thing, there's Carnby Edward in 4th position. Tate Dorsey's got Michael Norman like in the way, sort of, but Michael's not really in the way. He's a lap down, but he's not under power. Tate's just going to have to find a way to get around him. Lap cars aren't required to move. Just gotta, if you get to them, just find your way around them. You can see there that the 86 of Mercurio is kind of in the middle of those two guys too. Carnby Edward in the 80 and the 68 of Joseph Landy Pavlon are racing for position. The 86 is not. See some cars coming off the pits there now. We're into another pit cycle. Jonathan Peavy has led 1 lap. So has Paulo Vitor and Joseph Landy Pavlon. 2 laps have been led by Tate Dorsey. 10 laps have been led by Santiago Gutierrez, who is now a lap down in 10th. 14 laps have been led by Keith Hughes. Jack Merkel has the remaining 53 under his belt. '68 is now looking to get around the 80. Overdrives just a little bit. There's lots of track out here though, so you can compensate for that. The amount of, I love that. That, like I said, I've said it before, that part of the track's great. The amount of different lines you see coming through there. Some guys are right down to the wall. Some guys are right up on the wall. And everything in between. I think there was a truck race a few weeks ago here at Phoenix. I saw like a short reel or something on Instagram, and they were 7 wide through that area. And it wasn't even cramped, which is the hilarious part. Because there's somewhere to go when you get out of there too. It's not like it comes into a bottleneck. Everything's paved. To the pits, looks like Noah Wetzel might have a tire down as well. Some guys might be running the right front right off these cars. That's Crocodile Cromp there in that orange 48, currently being shown in 8th position. He is 1 lap down off the pace. There is only 6 cars currently on the lead lap. Last car on the lead lap, Paulo Vitor in the 70. And he is right about there. He's had a great season too. Paulo Vitor in the 70. All over most of these broadcasts. Makes it to most races. I do not know how many starts he has. Did I write that down? No, I did not write that down. I do have that stat. I just can't see it right now. Trying to get a look at some of these paint jobs here. I got to get the right camera. Austin LaPlante, Jared Lavoie, Lucas Garcia, Santiago Gutierrez. Oh, that pace car, I tell you. Crocodile Crop, Michael Norman. Here is Edward. We got to watch this battle here. This is a battle for fourth. Carnby Edward in the 80 car is fourth. Joseph Landy Pavlon. These guys have kind of been, they've been fighting it out for the last couple dozen laps here. A little bit of lap traffic got their way, but they're making it work. Able to get underneath them. Just depends on the preferred line. Oh, it looks like he may have let him go. Might get, oh, you know what? I was thinking he might just slingshot, get right back underneath him again. That's the old how's she going. And that's funny too. It doesn't get, the lead changes don't, you know, the position changes don't count mid-lap. They could pass each other 6 times in one lap, but it doesn't really matter once you get back to the line. Well, we got it done. 68 is now looking for Tate Dorsey in the 6. It's about a 3-second gap currently showing. 6 has a 7 laps, 68's 11. Yeah, so it's take him a little while. Oh my, what's that? What happened there? Locked him up, and again it looks like the 86 has a left front down. Josh Merck and Jack Merck. This is Josh Mercurio, and the 86 has had some tire trouble already. We watched him before trying to limp that thing around there with no front tires. Now he's lost the left front tire. Keith Hughes in a battle now here. Tate Dorsey tracking him down. We are in the pit cycle here, so... Oh, and it looks like Crocodile Crop has retired with a tire issue. That's what it says. Tire problem. Usually just says retired. That actually says tire problem. So unfortunately for the 48, Crocodile Crop has retired a couple laps ago, actually. Yeah, guys are running into some tire issues here. The 86 being one of them. Not a good night for Joshua. 3 laps down, tending to more tire issues on pit road there. The 6 overtakes Hughes. Oh, I see what happened. He didn't overtake Hughes. No. Merkel pit. Yeah, Merkel to the pits. Gotcha. Can't keep track of all this stuff. A lot of numbers on my side. So yeah, Hughes on his way in. Oh, smoke show. What happened there? Carnby Edward from 4th position. Back it up a bit here. Again, it looks like he's got a tire down. That thing's dipping low on the right front. And he was not able to get it turned. Oh, man. Hit the wall. Not too hard. Problem with that is he might get a black flag. I don't know. Unsafe pit entrance? I guess we'll see. See what happens to the 80. See if they penalize him for that. Tate Dorsey in the 6 is currently your race leader. He's headed to his pit stall as well. Looks like his car may have been dipping a little bit too. These guys are running their tires right out, using the entire car. We're headed into about, what do we got here? About 27 laps to go. So this will be good. I mean, now we're into a spot here under green flag pitting where we've only got 25 laps until this thing's over. So these guys will be able to drive the absolute snot right out of these things right now. Merkel currently your leader again. He's got about a 9-second lead on Hughes. Once this all cycles around again, currently right now there's 4 cars on the lead lap: Joseph Landy, Pavlon, Tate Dorsey, Keith Hughes, Jack Merkel. So you know what's up top there. Dude, Dorsey having a really good race. Awesome pit stops. Currently right there in 3rd position. But he is about 9 seconds away from Keith. But he is putting time between him and the 4th place car of Joseph Landy Pavlon. Paolo Vitor is a lap down, however. Jonathan Peavy can't get the position, if he can get to him. A second away. Just taking a look around the field here to see who's close and maybe battle up for position. Everybody's pretty well spread out. Jack Merkel is the race leader, of course. He has led 70 laps. Scuffed up on the door there a little bit, but hey, he knows how to get around this track. So every lap he goes by, he's driving away from these guys. Like I said too, because of the proximity to the end of the race, this is not going to be any issues on tires, unless guys lock them up, of course. That causes a lot of tire heat and, of course, tire damage. I'd like to thank my sponsor this evening. That cup of coffee is glorious. Thank you, everybody who is watching this thing, for putting up with my nonsense. I'm trying to post this thing all by my lonesome, just trying to find stuff to talk about. These guys are putting on a clinic. This is a very good race. We had a rough start to this, but I think everybody found their groove pretty quick. We had 4 yellow flags with a total of 13 laps under yellow flag conditions. And once they got that out of their system, we've been green. We've been green the whole time, so this is great. We've had our last two pit stops, I think, have been under green flag conditions. And now we are within 20 of the checkered flag. We will talk to the top 3, of course, in the post-race ceremonies. Probably be a little bit of a gap, just so I can get everything saved up before we start talking to these guys. So if you do want to hear the post-race interviews, they will happen. You just give me a couple minutes to kind of gather all my stuff before I start grabbing drivers and talking to them. I wonder if the 68 of Joseph Landy Pavlon will be able to catch Tate Dorsey. I'm about 5 seconds in front of him. See him there at the end of the straightaway. It's probably not going to happen with less than, what have we got, about 23 laps to go or so. The ticker across the top of your screen. It's hard to line it up when the game crashes and it messes up my ticker. I have to type in the lap total. So I type in 125 to cover up a -1. If the game crashes, it kicks it, and then you rejoin. The ticker doesn't see the total laps; it just puts -1. So now it's trying to say lap 109 of getting the O on there. So it's the best I can do. The closest battle we're having here would be Noah Watts. Yeah, it would actually, know what? It would be Michael Norman and Santiago Gutierrez. Norman being in the 6th position, Gutierrez right behind him there in the 81. He's reeling them in. Oh, there you go. Norman overshot the corner. He might have a tire problem. No, maybe not. Might have just, just hit his mark wrong, and car just washed up the track. Oh, maybe he does need tires. Get back on your race leader here, Jack Merkel. Currently 12.6 seconds ahead of second place at the 82 of Keith Hughes. .20 seconds in front of Yeah, 20 seconds in front of Tate Dorsey. About to put Jarrett Gravois in the 23 a lap down. That will put Jarrett 7 laps behind. And then the 92 lost to the plant. 4 laps behind in 12th spot, and with Tate Dorsey finishing 3rd, I'm thinking with the points he actually might be able to take 3rd position in the championship standings from him. Of course, there is still 1 race to go next week. There's still 1 race remaining in Miami, so once we head there, that'll lock everybody down. But as we said before, see if we can get Mercurio here. Where's Mercurio? There's Mercurio there. The 86th of Josh Mercurio has clinched 2nd overall in the championship, season number 5. With 20 starts, he has 15 top 10s in those 20 starts. 5 of those were top 5s, and 2 of those were wins. These stats are amazing. And he only had 20 starts. He actually was not able to start every single race. If he had, it'd have been a little tighter, I think. Also, don't forget to watch Tarnation. I'm not going to do that to you. Not in the closing laps of the race. Don't forget to watch Tarnation TV. Coming up on Thursday night as I produce the show for Seth Cole, Michael Norman, and Kyle Matthews from the Flat Out Racing Network, as they call the Talladega Challenge. Season number 66 of the Talladega Challenge on Thursdays. Of course, next Sunday we will be at Miami also, as we we head there with SMO Gaming Simulation. That's their season finale as well. Everybody likes ending their season in Miami. Why not? You might as well do it. So yeah, that's cool. And then the Flat Out Racing Network will actually be covering the All-Star Racing League. Race number 1 of their season number 3 of the Super Speedway Series, which is now called Super Sundays at ASR. That's David Chin and Brian Wolf running that series league. I know David is the one behind the league, and then was allowing Brian to put this little series together. That's been pretty successful. Last week was an exhibition, or last couple days ago on Sunday was an exhibition race. Season 3 will officially begin on Sunday. We will be calling the majority of that season, but SMO Gaming Simulation had us booked on Sunday for their finale. So we'll be hanging out with SMO, competing with Flat Out Racing, who will be hanging out with ASR. What does it all mean? All those abbreviations and acronyms. It's a lot of letters. Well, Jack Merkel currently with 88 laps led. 3 cars are out of this race. 20 started, 17 are still running. Benjamin Snyder retired. Victor Carrera, accident. Crocodile Crump, tire problem. Accident, Zachary Hall, in 32. Retired from an accident. This is a replay. Oh, yep. He popped a tire too. Oh, Gutierrez slow off the wall. Should get back on Jack Merkel here. We got a couple laps to go here. Jack Merkel. Lap number 124 of number 125. This next time by the stripe, they will be waving white. And of course, when we are within 5, there are no yellow flags. That's why there was no flags brought out when Hall cut the tire down. We'll ride along. Right, let's ride in the cockpit here. Unbelievable show, of course. Jack Merkel showing everybody how it's done. There's the checkers. You can see him waving. Congratulations again to Jack Merkel in the 24 DuPont. Oh, everybody's blowing up. Let's put the flag in the hand of the 24 and see who wants to give him the congratulations on winning huge bump. And again, from the front to the back to the front, another win. 24. Even though he's clinched it, he's still showing up. That's part of the bet. I don't know what he wins. If he wins the bet, I don't know what he wins. But you know what? Does it really matter? Holy moly. Okay. As the dust settles, that's how you do that. All right then. Let's go here. Mute my microphone and we'll get some stuff saved up. Stay tuned for some post-race interviewing. Well, I'm gonna try to do some interviews, but I can't seem to.
Would have lasted a little bit longer.
Hey now.
Changing the stuff. Hey.
Apparently, I don't have permissions to move people up into the broadcast booth, so I guess we'll just do it from down here. My co-hosts apparently only have that permission, but anyway. Yeah, man, let's start with Dorsey. We'll just do this as a whole group thing. I was looking at the points. Merkel has the championship locked up. Mercurio has second place locked up. That third place position, are you pushing for a podium finish on the championship sort of podium standings? Because there's still positions to be had there, because third place is really tight. There's like 3 or 4 guys that could probably get into that spot.
Yeah, it's, I don't know, one of the things you're looking at, and it's a goal, but I'm not gonna start selling out. But runs like this makes it way more attainable, so definitely had my eye on it, keeping track of it, keeping tabs on it, so night like tonight helps a lot.
Yeah, and then tonight, I mean, a lot of bugs, obviously, starting off. We had a few caution flights, but not really that many laps. I think it was only 13 laps total under yellow. Most of those came early. Once you guys, I guess where I'm going with this is once you guys found that groove, it was smooth sailing.
Yeah, I liked it quite a bit. We had a decent amount of tire wear. Decent might be too gentle of a word, but the tires were pretty good. So it was nice that we didn't have a rash of cautions. I enjoy when you kind of have to manage that a little bit, and you can do things to put the race more in your hands, I feel like, than just going all out every single lap.
Right, it's more strategy, and then I'm watching from up here going, everybody's using different lines going through that dogleg section, and there was guys losing tires out there too, like Josh Mercurio had a horrible night when it came to tire management, because it looked like he lost tires. I saw 2 or 3 times he had to make emergency pit stops. Like one time he couldn't even get the car to turn because he had no fronts. So it was tough for some drivers.
Yeah, that last run I had 2 guys that they must have blown a tire, and they just cut hard left to get to pit road as I was coming through 1 and 2, which was not fun, but we made it through. I almost T-boned the 32 with I think it's like 4 to go or something. I locked up a little bit, and I was feeling good about my tires, but I don't know anymore. So they went red on the last lap. So glad we didn't have any more.
Yeah, perfect. And right to the last lap. Well, congratulations on the 3rd place finish, man. So yeah, if you got any shout outs you got to do, let it rip.
Yeah, just shout out to Maverick. I have a lot of fun racing here, especially when we get these long runs and just get a race a little bit. Shout out Mondays of Thunder. We're doing a super speedway kind of series on Mondays right now. That's pretty exciting. We've done 6 races, had 6 different winners. Keith Hughes has not been one of them, I don't think. He's pretty slow. So, and then just shout out to my wife and kids for not distracting me too much while I race.
Awesome, man. Yeah. Well, congratulations, dude. We'll see you here next week in Miami for the finale.
Yeah, see you then. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, man. You going to take that, Keith? All that abuse there at the end of that interview there? He's chirping you for being slow?
Yeah, I actually did win one. He's one of the people that have not won one of the 6, so he's just jealous.
Yeah, okay.
Stats.
Is that a Maverick series?
No, it's Mondays of Thunder. We do
Mondays of Thunder's a league.
Uh-huh.
I can't keep track of all this stuff. It's crazy. But anyway, man, yeah, another awesome race. Only 3 of you guys on the lead lap too, which is crazy, because I was trying to find the little pockets of you guys racing each other 3-4 wide sometimes. It looked like a lot of fun. I mean, that's a cool track once the cars get warmed up, of course. That's always seems to be the issue. I noticed a lot right off the start with all those yellows at the beginning. I was blaming cold tires. Was I right?
I think it's just people wanting to be too aggressive early. They kind of watch real life Phoenix and think they can just send it and dive it everywhere, and they're not able to hang on to it as it slides up the track.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot of track out there, but yeah, guys are still finding that outside wall. But yeah, man, what a fantastic season for you too. I mean, I remember at the start of this whole season, you were kind of sitting on the sidelines, and you're sitting in 9th place overall coming into this thing tonight in the standings. You kind of regret maybe not racing a full-time season?
No, I think it was needed, and
okay,
it kind of fixed a lot of the problems, and I also figured out I think I figured out the system. This tire wear crap that I'm putting in this tracks is making the races be a lot greener, because we're getting rid of the people that can't manage their tires. They're blowing tires, hitting the wall, and they're not involved in the race anymore. If they can't learn to control their car, they won't be able to wreck as many people. And I mean, it still happens, but it's not going to be a big pile up.
That's a good point, yeah, because I noticed a lot of races, and Rod and I have talked about this even off the air, of how it's the first 25% of a lot of these races are kind of just a mess. But then once like you said, maybe you're just not having it. It's not your favorite track. You burn the tires off, you crash a couple times, you retire. Once you get those guys out of the way, the rest of the race it's great, and it's happened a lot of times this season.
Yeah, and I think, like I said, having that tire wear really high makes everybody conscious of that. And if the good drivers are going to take it easy, even the aggressive ones have to, because if they don't, if we get a long run, they're going to get just dropped to the back real fast.
And that makes for such a great race, because you're not only just waiting for the fuel to run out and get more gas, you're actually having to see, okay, how can I get the tires to sort of get as close to that gas mileage, make those pit stops count.
I can tell you this: if Maverick going forward, if I have to say, we're never going to have to pit for gas. That's never going to be the problem.
I was kind of leaning on that.
Tire's going to run out before the gas do.
It's more fun when you can kind of go, can I stretch these tires with the gas mileage? Like, you could, and if you can, you might. Well, like, you're not going to be fast, but you're going to be there at the end, and you might actually win the thing. Because the final pit stop too was right in with like 20 to 30 laps. What was the fuel window? Like, what was the pit window? It seemed to be 30, 40.
If I remember correctly, it was like 48. I gotta ask Jack if he knows. It was high.
Yeah, it was like 45 laps of fuel.
Okay.
But I made 31 laps, or we made 31 laps on that last set of tires, but that you couldn't sustain that during the race. So I was half throttle for the last 5 laps of the race.
I noticed that you were slowing up a lot.
Yeah, my left front went red with 4 to go, and then my right rear went red coming to the white flag.
No kidding! Wow. But yeah. Oh, I guess we'll talk to Jack here in a second. Keith, yeah, man. Like I said, awesome race. If you got any shout outs or final thoughts, let it rip, bud.
Yeah, same thing. Untitled Thunder is what I mainly race at. My wife and kids for not being on the Wi-Fi during the race, so everybody can race and not have any lag issues. So that's good.
Are you on Wi-Fi when you're racing, like your computer?
No, I'm not. But
okay,
Wi-Fi pulls from the internet usage, and even harder. So I asked him not to. And also, thanks my cats for not chewing on the cord. That happened once at a Kansas race in Mondays of Thunder. They started chewing on the cord, and half the people kind of fell out, but not really. So they were halfway there. People were racing inside each other and not wrecking. Like, it was one of the most amazing things I've ever seen.
All from half a cord being
because they wouldn't even chew it in half. It was just chewing on the process. It just messed up the connection for like half the cars, and some of the cars were still there, and they were plowing through people they couldn't see.
That's awesome.
And nobody could see them. They were just getting wrecked from nobody.
That's awesome.
It was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. But yeah, thanks for the cats for not chewing on anything and being patient, I guess, for waiting for me to come back upstairs.
Awesome. Well, we'll see you next week, man, at Miami for the finale of this thing. Rod will be back, and we'll get it done.
All right, see you.
Thanks, man. Congratulations on your win, Jack. Another dominating race, 93 laps led. Again, I love it when qualify first, go to the back, right back to the front again.
The smaller fields, the smaller fields we've had the last few races have definitely helped that situation. It's not as stressful to get up there, and especially with a track like tonight, it was easy to not get crowded because you could separate so easily through the dogleg and stuff, and with the way the tires were, I didn't have to really worry about battling anybody for long because I could usually just get mine pretty quick, pretty easily, so I was able to make my way to the front and then just have my only focus be on Keith and trying to keep him behind me.
That's the thing, with this track, it's paved from wall to wall all the way around, so if you need to drive somewhere, there's all kinds of room. And that dogleg was wild to watch the different lines people were taking in there. I was riding along with you in the cockpit a couple times, and that transition looks violent going down.
It is. It's rough.
Holy. Does that throw the car off?
It can, yeah. Like, if you hit it wrong coming back up onto the track to go into 1 and 2, if you hit it wrong, the car will bounce a couple of times, and it could take you to the wall. Like, I hit the wall a couple of times from it bouncing real hard coming back on the track.
Yeah, I was watching guys wash up the track.
There was a certain line that if you hit it a certain way, it would bounce the car into the wall. So you had to either kind of be on either side of it or hit it at a little bit of an off angle. But I hit it a couple times straight on like I didn't need to, and I tagged that wall a couple times.
Wow. Yeah, like you were saying the tire wear right down to that last lap, like you were getting borderline for losing your tires as well. And I'm a fan of that. Like, I'm a fan of them setting it up where it's a tire race. Like, let's do it, dude.
Yeah, that's how I would want every race that I do to be. Like how that was tonight. That's how I love a race to be.
Yeah, like Keith said, you're not going to be pitting for gas. You're going to have to manage tires.
Dealing with a fuel race is I just hate it in this game because there's so much stuff that can just change it a little bit, and it's just. I've even found sometimes that I feel like you can also kind of get screwed in pit road because I've seen times where you can change it to be how much fuel you want, and if your stall is anywhere after the line, the game can change it itself before you pit, and then you don't get the fuel that you need. Like I've had it happen to me. Like come in, set it to 2 cans, but it calls for a can and a half, but you put 2 in it just to be safe because you know it's going to fall off a little bit. But it changes it at the line because the amount changes, so it automatically changes what you need. And if you're not paying attention, you can only take a can when you needed to take 2, and it can really screw you up on that.
I've had that happen to me, yeah, because I'm like, I swear I set that to a can and a half. What the hell's going on? But like when you got the start finish line in the middle, it's doing that estimate. It's recommending. I'm like, you can recommend whatever you want. I don't want that. I want this, and then it'll reset your choice.
Yeah, well, and it's like tonight too. If a pit lane's real long, like it is tonight too, it'll read that you're going slower, so it'll say that you have more fuel left, so it'll give you less fuel. So you can end up needing a can and a half and only taking half a can or a splash because it changes. Because it reads that you're going slower now for this lap, and because the lap was so much slower, it thinks, oh, he's going slower, it's not going to use as much fuel, he doesn't need that much now.
Oh, so it's instantly taking that as an average speed, even though you're only doing that for 2 minutes.
Yep, it's you got to kind of be careful with it. Coming into pit road, especially on a green, I always make sure I have fuel open to make sure and always check it before I get to my box.
Right. That's a good one. Yeah, because if it does happen to change, you can quickly just give it another hit, and you'll be fine. Well, man, yeah. I mean, we're going into Miami next week, and what do you get to? Like, it was the bet was start every race in the back, so it's not even. You don't win anything, right? You just win bragging rights.
Just win that I'm allowed to compete next season.
Right. Oh, was that what it was?
Yeah, if I didn't do it, I got banned.
Right, it was. I forgot about that. Yeah, because we talked about that before.
Made a stupid bet.
So now you have to run.
I don't actually think I have to.
Well, yeah, because technically you've won the championship.
Well, it's not even that, because I had to win it by 250 points.
Oh,
but
okay.
I was 430 ahead before tonight, and I probably gained another 100 on him.
Oh, from Mercurio.
Because he had a pretty bad day.
He had tire problems.
So he finished
10th.
I gained 50 on him, so I'm going to be like 480. So yeah, I can miss and still win it by like 300.
Right. Well, they made sure that bet counted. You got to win. Sure, you got to start at the back and win, and then win the championship, and then you got to also win the championship by X amount of points too.
Yeah,
like, it's a whole thing.
It's not. They didn't really make sure of that. I'm the one who set the parameters because I'm stupid.
Oh, okay. You did that to yourself, so you're challenging yourself. Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going
I
down
did
the
it.
Points.
I did hold up to what I said I was going to do, but I didn't like it.
You instantly.
It definitely hurt me in a lot of races. Like Watkins Glen and Sonoma definitely hurt me to have any chance of winning that race.
Yeah, Zach is so good.
And I feel like I lost Kansas because of it too, but I was just like a late restart. Could have went either way, so it's just really,
yeah, Well, I mean, looking at the guys in the top 10, LaPlante, Dorsey, Peavy, Pachon, Gutierrez, Bishop, Hughes, and Pavlon. I mean, these guys didn't start every race. Like, is there anybody do you think could give you a run for your money next year if you were all to actually start every race?
I mean, yeah, definitely. If Keith shows up to every race, for sure, him.
Yeah. Like LaPlante's close, Mercurio's
Santi's
close.
definitely got it turned around. He's definitely done good this last season. I think I've just gotten lucky a lot this season too, and it's helped. There's no telling if I get the same luck that I have this season next season.
Well, that's the thing. Luck's half the thing, right? Like even today, you said you were burning. You had 2 tires sitting on red going into the final lap. Like that's borderline. That's a wreck waiting to happen.
Oh yeah, I mean Josh. He's back there, but he's missed a couple races.
Yep.
And then he had a couple races where he just really bad luck in terms of a finish. But so I mean, a couple races gets turned around for him, and he finishes top 5. And then a couple races I end up getting, something happens and I miss a race or something like that, and it definitely could have been a different story.
Yep.
So I mean, I don't know if I'll race every race next season. I'm still kind of up in the air if I want to or not. And if I don't, I could definitely see it being a fight for that top. It just depends on who shows up and who has luck on their side, especially with this game. A lot of, Josh started the season off bad because he blew up on like lap 10 at Daytona for no reason. Right. So he was behind from the start, unfortunately.
Yeah, random failures.
Yep.
And then of course there's connection. You could have connection problems and controller failures. Anything can happen, right?
Yeah, I just got lucky that I've had no engine failures, and I've had a couple blown gears, but it was never like high gears or anything. It was always like maybe a first or a second for pit road or something like that, but it's not been anything detrimental to me, thankfully.
Yeah. Well, it's awesome to watch, man, because this has been something else. Like, Rod and I really having a lot of fun with Maverick. Different tracks every week, too, is cool. Like, Talladega is awesome, but it's nice to get into these other leagues and see a different season structure. And, looking forward to next year. A couple new tracks on schedule, too. I think he's got Montreal and Mexico City in there, so that'll be
couple of races longer. I think it's 3 races longer next season, too.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he added 2 or 3 tracks, or maybe a second race somewhere else.
If I don't race the full season, the main races that I know I won't be here for will be the super speedways. I don't like them. I hate them with a passion. And like Talladega or Daytona or whatever, where I finished like 24th, the only reason I stayed in that race was because of points. Right. If it wasn't for points, I would have left after the first wreck on like lap 10, because you're just driving around literally in circles at that point.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a whole different style of race.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thanks again, man, and as always, congratulations on the championship and the win. And if you got any final thoughts, let it rip.
Just thanks for everybody at Maverick for turning things around. I know it was pretty rough last season, and the start of the season was okay, but the people in it turned it around. Ben let me have the ability to take over penalties, so I feel like that's helped clean stuff up. Held people accountable for racing like an idiot. And just thanks to Keith for not banning me and allowing me to keep racing. And thanks to Fortnite Squad for a good car, and hopefully we can end it on a good note and get win at Homestead would be nice, but a top 5 maybe, just bring it home on a good note on a championship, and hopefully we can continue the momentum in the next season and see what we can do.
Awesome, man. Couldn't have said it better myself. And I don't win that much, so I should take some notes.
I've never had a season like this. This is the first one I've had where it's pretty dominant like this.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys in here that can win stuff, man, and you've been doing great. But yeah, man.
Yeah, the car count's kind of dwindled a little bit, but I think that's more so it's later in the year. There's been a lot of gaps between races, so people, it's into points, so people don't really inclined to show up because they're like, I can't win the title or nothing. So maybe we'll get some car counts back starting next season. Hopefully we can keep it up. Have 25, 30 every race.
Yeah, and even then today, right? 20 started, so it is a little bit lower, but it still makes for a great race.
And I mean, it's 20 cars, and the last 60 laps of that, 70 laps are green. So Nice to have long green flag runs, especially when you have a little bit of a lower field. It helps a lot. So
Yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah, that was a massive green flag run. Two or three pit cycles.
yep.
All right, man. Well, thank you for your time, and we'll see you next week in Miami.
Appreciate it. See you next week.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
You too.
Well, there it is. Had a long day at work. Got home, quickly ate some food, and logged into the computer to do this thing. And, so I'm going to go to bed. But anyway, there's the view of next year's schedule here. We do have one more race left, which is, as you can see right there, it's going to be Homestead Miami Speedway. That will be race number. Move this over, move that back. December 24, November 18th, next Tuesday. We'll wrap this whole thing up. Jack Merkel has clinched the championship here, but you know what? That third place, it's still really close for third. Probably within two or three drivers probably could move around down there. Pretty neat to watch. And as always, thanks to Ben, the Maverick Cup Series, for having Tarnation TV do this. Been a lot of fun this year. We got one race left. Of course, it's Veterans Day, Remembrance Day. Soldiers, people who served, thank you for your service. Today is your day. Of course, thanks to everybody who watches this thing, comments on this thing, likes this thing. Either if you watched live or you're watching a replay. We couldn't do it without you. See you back here on Tarnation TV on Thursday as we head to RollingThunderGaming.com, the Talladega Challenge. Thursday nights, it's that's a big race. Of course, I'm just kind of producing that. Flat Out Racing Network with Seth Cole. That's been with Rolling Thunder for a very long time. So it's very cool to have him behind the reins of the commentary there. He has all the numbers and all the information, knows all the guys. It's very, very entertaining to hear those guys call a race. So join me, Seth Cole, Michael Norman, Kyle Matthews on Thursday. Next Sunday we'll be here. Tarnation TV will be at SMO, and we will be doing some Miami races next week. Sunday we're at Miami with SMO for their season finale, and of course back here next Tuesday for the finale of Maverick season number 5. But as always, we'll see you next time. Sunday will be Rod Weston, the co-host at SMO. He'll also be here next week as well. So yeah, I guess that's all I really need to say. Thanks everybody for watching. Thank you very much to all the drivers. Again, can't do it without the drivers. Can't do it without the viewers. If the women don't find you handsome, they should at least find you handy. Keep your stick on the ice.